It's Sunday, which means it's time for another edition of Story Time with Carl. This is that book. You can't get this anywhere because my producer Jason made it, but today's chapter is called Getting Played Over a Player. It's the time-old tale in what to do in global conflict. You look to who is your enemy's most valuable asset in war, and you make sure you trade them for Brittney Griner, a basketball player that hates the USA, for the merchant of death, to America's dismay. Who could ponder such a foolish trade? The entire world knows we got played. But Biden trades down because he just doesn't care. Our strength and superiority has vanished into thin air. So it's now time to recap another week in wild news. Right now, rapid fire style, joining me now for more is the Common Sense Cowboy commentator Patrick Dorinson. Patrick, welcome back.
Hey, Carl, how you doing?
Pretty good. So let's begin with this prisoner swap. We've been talking a lot about it, but I am morally offended by the fact that they left the Marine there. You?
Well, I am too. And remember, when we used to negotiate with the Soviet Union over weapons and arms, many years ago, the Soviets had a saying. It said, "What's mine is mine. What's yours we'll negotiate." And that's kind of what happened in this situation. They wanted something, and we wanted something, but what we wanted certainly wasn't of the same value of what they wanted.
Right.
There was one fellow who wrote a book one time, and he said, the worst thing you can do in a deal is seem desperate to make one, because your opponent then smells blood. And guess who said that? Donald Trump in The Art of the Deal. And we were desperate to make this deal for political reasons. It certainly wasn't for national security. And we made the deal. They got their arms dealer back. We got a basketball player. And meanwhile, a former Marine is still sitting in a prison.
Yeah, well, exactly. You also had something nice, not so nice to say about Ronna McDaniel, one of the other GOP crews and consultants and insiders that have basically all screwed everything up. And you say they need to be dumped.
She should be dumped yesterday. I mean, she's about as useless as a one-legged man in a butt-kicking contest. And that bunch of grifters, consultants that she has, who get a percentage of the ad buys in addition to whatever other fees they get, even when they lose. These guys make money. They don't care. They're based out of Washington. They don't know what's going on in the rest of the country. She needs to be dumped right away. And I'll tell you something. Republicans got a choice. Either they can keep McDaniel and prepare for another defeat in 2024, or they can get a new chair and prepare for victory. That's the choice they have, and they better make the right choice.
Yeah, I'm kind of, like someone like a Larry Elder, who's just a frank guy who speaks truth to power. I think he would be fantastic. All right, so new old Disney CEO Bob Iger trying to find this way to make up for the fact that Ron DeSantis just basically slapped him with, paying all the taxes and utilities, and you've lost your special status and things like that because you went woke and tried to call a bill something that's not even mentioned in the bill. It's costing him, but then he comes out. You'd think he was brought back in to level this playing field, but he comes back out and says, yeah, we need to be talking about gun control. And, oh, yeah, we're going to get rid of Splash Mountain because it's somehow racist.
Yeah, I know. I mean, first I thought him coming back, they were going to, somehow back off some of this wokeness. But then in a way, I think he's kind of in a tough spot. He's trying to come back from the wokeness in Florida and what it did to him as far as his tax status. But on the other hand, he's trying to please his people out in California and all the liberals. So guess what? I think in the end, Florida is going to probably make some deal with Iger. And that's, probably not a bad thing for Florida, and it's probably not a bad thing for Disney. But before they do anything like that, they ought to make him eat a little crow. And I mean a healthy dose of crow. And I'll tell you something. There's a funny thing about when you have to eat crow. You better eat it fast, because the colder it gets, the harder it is to swallow.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty interesting point. I appreciate the point of view on that, Patrick. As always, the common sense that's not so common anymore. Appreciate it.